Okay, here we are. Okay, yay. Some days you don't even have time to put pants on, right? When you jump on live. All right, here you go. Here we go. Let me just slow my roll a little bit and get some coffee in me. And whew, today we've got, what have we got? We've got 19 and 20 of 101 ways to make money in real estate. I should say to make money with real estate. In real estate, it's okay, right? It's all right. I'm gonna get some lotion on my hands and we're gonna get started here. We've got two topics here today. We've got lies, 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 and boy, does that turned out to be funny in the comments. I'm gonna share some of those with you today, comments from the group. And chapter number 20 is don't count the money until you get the check. And I don't know about you, but I have absolutely been guilty of that early in my career. And I had learned my lesson. That's the truth. All right. Hey there. Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. If you're here with me, let me know in the comments. It's a lot more fun when you're chatting with me. All right. So here we go, 19 and 20. And then I've got a few more things. Before we get started, I do have a few more things I want to share that we did in the group. So let me just kind of cue that up a little bit here because I'll share a screen in just a minute. So give me a second because there's some things in the group that I want to share. Okay. Okay. And we'll give people a few more minutes to get here. And while we do that, I will go ahead and I'm going to share screen real quick and we're going to scroll through the group just so let's see, I got to make sure I'm picking the right one here. There we are. Okay. You should be able to see my screen now. And we're looking at the Breakthrough Real Estate Agents group. And I just want to scroll through here. There's a couple of comments that I want to elaborate on. All right. And in here, we've got a conversation going on about iHouse Web and TurboLeads is the CRM. So if you're interested in getting a website up and running for yourself in your business, if you are an independent agent, that is absolutely the prime time to get that under your belt so that you own that piece of real estate. Okay, you've got to own that piece of real estate in your business, your own website, your own CRM, as soon as you can. Okay, so there's a great conversation going on about that tool. All right. And then scrolling right along here, I want to share with you, this is a viral post. It's going viral on my page. I've got a pretty good response. You can see here. Whoops, wrong post. My apologies. Let's just scroll through. Where are we? Right here. This is kind of, at the time, it was the responses it was getting. It was getting post reach of 227,000, 55 page likes or, post likes. So this is engagement that drives down the costs of your marketing when you've got something that goes organic viral like this. So feel free to grab, whatever I post in here is what I want you to kind of grab and share on your page because it's viral content. And that's going to already create some engagement for you. Okay, so that's that post there. And how often do you email your database? That's a good conversation. Hopefully you've got your email list underway and definitely, have that organized on either one platform or one spreadsheet, something that you're going to control a little bit. Okay, and I thought there was one more. Here we go. This is the one I'm going to share today. Okay, have you ever had a buyer or seller lie to you? Okay. All right, so here we go. Lies, lies, lies. Yes, we've all had, not all of us, because Kim did definitely step up and say, everyone's experiences are different, and I don't think a client has ever maliciously lied to me. And that's good. That's a good positive feeling, definitely. Okay. I'll tell you a little story I had one that was a real doozy. It just happened to have been uh, on a property that I owned and was flipping. It was one of my rehab properties. I don't know if you know my story a little bit. That's the whole reason why we opened our brokerage back in 2000, was because we were flippers. We were flippers. I was a mortgage broker at the time, and I had a mortgage brokerage business as well. So, we figure let's just do under one roof, mortgages and real estate. So that's why we jumped in. All right. But I'll tell you, this one buyer on a property that I owned, thank goodness, it didn't affect anyone but myself. But he was kind of a weird bird to begin with. And like, he wanted to pay cash and he needed some time to pull the cash together. But he put a $10,000 escrow deposit down. Now, we're in Central Florida, and we are in a very blue collar market, and typically our escrow deposits are $1,000. Doesn't matter what the purchase price is, right? So he wants to put $10,000 down. So right away, there goes my spidey senses, and I'm like, all right. So I connect him with my title company. He writes her a check, and we start the process. We're underway with this transaction. We're in contract, and he's got put a $10,000 check in with the escrow, with the title company. Well, I'm going to tell you what, man, probably about a week later, this guy, we get a call, the title company gets a call from the FBI that this buyer was siphoning funds out of some truckers union account or something, and they were closing in on him, and so they took that money out of my title company's escrow account immediately. They took it. They just reached in and took it, so she calls me, and of course, you don't have a contract. This guy's about to get arrested. And sure enough, he did get arrested. And then I don't know how he ended up doing this, but he had purchased a big screen TV, and he wanted it, he asked if he could have it delivered to the house, and I allowed that to happen. And then after he got arrested, he called me from jail and said, can I get my sister to come pick that up? I'm like, yeah, get that out of my house, man. I don't want no part of this stuff, right? So that was a huge, huge, huge learning experience that, oh, wow, okay, yep. My spidey senses were correct. You know what I mean? So that was one huge lie. And I'm sure there's lots of little lies, that can obviously add up as well. Alyssa says she freaked out and yelled at me. She had a customer freak out and yell at her for cashing her escrow money check, and said it should have been held. I'll be honest with you. I had that happen to one of my agents also. They I don't know the miscommunication, how that can possibly be miscommunicated, but I actually had that happen to one of my agents as well, where the buyer thought that it would be held. And, I think they misinterpret the you'll be credited this at closing, versus it's going to be cashed right now. You know what I mean? People sometimes hear only what they want to hear. All right. And this is an oldie but a goodie. Kendall says buyers are liars and sellers are worse. That phrase has proven to be true a few times. And anyone I think who's been in this business any length of time has definitely heard that phrase, buyers are liars, right? You just gotta get some tougher skin. I think the longer you're in this business, you learn to ask better questions, and you have no qualms about really digging down and getting that information that you need. And if they don't want to share, there's something there they don't trust, or they're not telling the truth. You know what I mean? But that's definitely an old one. I was a mortgage broker myself, for a lot of years, 15 years before we opened up the brokerage business for the real estate company. And I mean, I did mortgages in the 80s, you know. There's definitely a lot of lying back then in the 80s going on applications. That's the truth. Harriet says she's had a buyer. We've decided to wait for a while before buying, and then the lender calls her up and says, hey, did you hear the buyer put down, you know, an offer with another agent? And, you know, I've had that happen too. You know, you've been around this business long enough, you're going to have all of this happen to you, you know, and you're tight with your lender. And, you know, when you get that phone call and he says, hey, I got to tell you, you know, your buyer just put in, a contract with another agent. You can't go back to that buyer and ask how they heard that. You know, you can't reveal really that the lender has conveyed that to you. So you got to bite your tongue. You know, you really got to bite your tongue because you don't want to throw your lender under the bus, you know, so be careful of doing that. And this situation that occurred, you know, ironically, I had sold both of her parents a home. You know, both of her parents, they were in my world. I sold both their homes. Here's the daughter coming along. She's working with me. I'm getting her all the way pre-qualified. I'm trimming up her credit, the whole 9 yards. I get her ready to buy. It's the same story everywhere. It doesn't matter who it is. It's the same story. You know, she got connected somehow to the listing agent of a home that was in her particular area that she wanted to live in. And you never know what that agent is going to say that tells her the only way she can get this house is if she makes the offer through them. You know, you can't hold that against someone. You really can't, because they're being lied to. They're being lied to, aren't they? You know, and as much as you want to call the other agent out, it isn't really kosher, is it? Okay. So that kind of stinks too, right? That definitely stinks. All right. So I like Kim's the best. Kim's the winner. Everyone experiences are different, but she doesn't think her clients ever maliciously lied to her. And that's great. That's a positive statement. I love that. Okay. All right. Now, chapter number 20. Don't count your money until you get the check. Now, I think probably everyone in the beginning, you know, they get so excited, and, you know, you're probably in the beginning living paycheck to paycheck or closing to closing, you know, because you're trying to get a business built and you're getting your footing underway. And maybe you weren't self-employed before you started this business. And it's a transition. If you're coming out of a corporate world, you're used to being very structured. You're used to punching a time clock. You're used to, you know, being accountable to your superiors. But, you know, when you come into the real estate world, you know, and especially if you just jump off a ledge like we did and, you know, owner operated right from day one, right? We did not work for any other brokerage at all. We formed our corporation of record. We hired a broker of record. It was our business. We were stockholders. We created the brand. He just collected his check. Okay. So, you know, you sometimes put this business together on a shoestring in the beginning, right? And then when you get a closing that you're foreseeing coming down the pipeline, and I don't know about you, but I definitely keep a spreadsheet. You know, I keep a spreadsheet of everything that's coming down the pipeline, and however you need to budget yourself, I keep a spreadsheet of that's going out the door, you know. And you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful to never, ever, ever spend that money any further than in your mind. Don't make commitments, because anything can happen on that transaction. Anything. Okay. I always say it's never over until the pleasingly plump, beautiful, round woman sings. All right. So remember that. Okay. That's definitely a mistake I think that everyone either will have made or has made in their career. is to spend that money before the check is in your hand, and when you put yourself in that position, you put yourself in a desperate position. Don't make those commitments until after you have got the check and you've cashed it and it clears. Okay. All right. All right. Anybody have any comments? Any questions? Anything I can help you with? Feel free to post in the group if there's anything you need. We had a great conversation going in the group about QR codes. So if you use QR codes in your business, go ahead and elaborate for us, if you don't mind, in the comments of that post, how you use QR codes, right? I have seen a few in my market, and I thought it was sharp. And I was going to go ahead and test that a little bit myself, because I'll be honest with you, I've never been an advocate for QR codes. I think they've got to be strategically placed, and they've got to deliver a particular message. Like, for example, they did become popular in restaurants I saw in our area here, of course, during the pandemic, and there's still a little remnants of it, where they didn't use menus anymore, and they put the QR code with the menu on the table. That was okay. That was convenient. I began using QR codes a little bit more then. But they have to be strategically placed, I think, where people can use their phone. Like you can't, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but not everyone knows how to do it. If your QR code is on your phone, how can they get a picture of it unless they've got another phone? Now, I know there's a way to do that because I've seen the TikTok videos, but not everybody will, okay? So that's just one thing you want to consider. I think they do great maybe on a business card. We saw a sample of that on the business card. But what I've seen on in my market was they had the sign. I think they had the name of the sign, the name of the brokerage at the top, but all they had was a big QR code. I don't even know if it had the phone number on the sign, to be honest with you, or if they did, it was maybe in very, smaller print that I couldn't pay attention to at the bottom. But when you're driving by, all you see is this big QR code on the yard sign. And I thought, wow, that's different, So I'm assuming you can absolutely pull up to there, snap a picture of that QR code, and I would assume it's bringing you downloading directly to either a website, a single website for that particular listing, or maybe the page on your website. That's what I would be doing, a page, the page on my website where I could land them right on that listing, right? So, but the debate became, how do you utilize that for more than one? How do you create that QR code? Well, I think in that QR tool that I dropped the link to, I think you could change the website for that particular code. I just glanced at that particular tool, so I haven't played with that myself yet, but I think you can change the website link for that particular QR code. So if that were the case, you would be able to refresh that link anytime that QR code is used for that particular sign. Okay? All right, so that's what I'm going to try probably, hopefully this year. I was going to get one or two of those signs made just to see if that does something a little bit differently, because I'm presuming, of course, when they use that QR code, that it's going to capture their information, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Right? It's all about building your email list, building your handwritten note list, right? Creating engagement with your page so that you can retarget with Facebook ads, and of course, attract an organic audience with groups. Okay. So if there's anything I can help you with, let me know. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.